Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of The Future Mind, where I discuss the psychology behind future readiness. Now, let me just ask you, how do you feel when you're in a situation you've never been in before? Whether it's meeting people you've never met before or taking up a job in an organization that's completely unfamiliar, a new industry, or maybe even a new country. How does that situation actually make you feel? What we're going to discuss today is a psychological trait called ambiguity tolerance. And to be honest, the first time I came across this was a couple of decades ago in the form of a cousin of ambiguity tolerance called uncertainty avoidance. One of the things you may have discovered in your own travels to other countries or in meeting people with other countries is that cultures can vary greatly in how structured they are or how adaptable or going with the flow they are. So there are countries where everything needs to be spelled out, all directions need to be extremely clear. And then, of course, there is India, where we're perpetually operating in this gray zone of some rules, not quite some rules, trying to read between the lines of when those rules should be followed and when those rules should not be followed. So, as someone who's just very, very comfortable with ambiguity, I've always been curious, what is the psychology behind this comfort with ambiguity? And it turns out that there is a psychological trait called ambiguity tolerance. And there isn't a whole lot of research in it, but there is some. And what that research shows is that when we look at organizations that are introducing change, in fact, this is a recent study that happened in India, uh, individuals who have a higher comfort with ambiguity are the ones who are able to spot the opportunities within those change and lead change. On the other hand, those who are very uncomfortable with ambiguity or low on the tolerance of ambiguity scale find the ambiguity extremely uncomfortable. It's a stressful place for them, and so they wish to quickly move to either a new situation where all rules are spelled out, or sometimes go back to the earlier situation where they were much more comfortable with what the rules are and knew how to operate. Now, let's be honest, all of us are at least somewhat uncomfortable when everything changes around us. Like, for instance, if you're meeting people who are completely different from you, it takes a while to figure out, okay, what are the rules of the game here? What should I speak about? What should I not speak about? What's important? How do I present my findings? How do I present my ideas? So this is perfectly normal. It takes all of us some amount of thinking through and understanding. But what has shifted is this: we're living in a world where uncertainty is so integral to the way work will happen and is already happening. And those of you who are following geopolitics, just the last few weeks have changed the tariff landscape of the US, with several countries in the world, Canada, Mexico, China, obviously with enormous implications for business. So we are living in a world which has far more uncertainty than ever before. In a very large part, this uncertainty is actually led by technology and the fact that technology is opening up the world in ways that people haven't quite understood as yet. But that's not the only force. There's geopolitics, there's climate change, and there's, frankly, the very, very real shifts in people's expectations from organizations, whether those people are engaging with the organization as a customer or whether they're our employees. So there is so much change in the world that we live in. And that's why ambiguity tolerance becomes such an important factor behind the psychology of future readiness. So what can you do if you want to increase your tolerance of ambiguity? I'm going to share with you two simple exercises. Try them and tell me how you feel. Exercise number 1: take small, low stake decisions with very little time. So, for instance, you can decide, I'm going to give myself 30 seconds to decide which movie to watch or which restaurant to go out to. Now, granted, if you had a lot more time and you put in a lot more effort, your choice is probably going to be a lot better. But dealing with situations where you've just made a decision that is on the fly with limited amount of information, helps you both with the decision making and then also to be able to enjoy the experience and whatever that presents. So that's exercise number one, taking low stakes, small decisions every day. Uh, Set yourself a timer, 30 seconds, 45 seconds if you prefer, and take that call and learn to enjoy whatever outcome there is. The second exercise is one of reframing. So whenever you're in a situation where you can feel yourself getting stressed because you aren't quite sure what the rules of the game here are and the situation seems to have absolutely no structure, start asking yourself, so what's the opportunity here? So, what's the opportunity here? Such a powerful question. And what this question does is it teaches us to spot opportunities in places of great ambiguity. Because the truth is that when we're in a situation of great ambiguity and change, that's when the opportunities actually reveal themselves, if we have the eyes to spot them, that is. So, here are two simple exercises for all of us to try. Do let me know how they work out for you. And if you know somebody who you think will benefit from this video, please share, like, and watch out for my other episodes on the future mind, the psychology behind future readiness. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.